Okay, I have to apologize for the sound of my voice right now. I just woke up. So, this is a message for the chosen ones. First of all, the earth right now, as you probably know, is surrounded by all of the motherships of many, many galaxies. Hi, Tyson, my love. Hi, Ashwini. Just listen very carefully to this. This is really beautiful. All right. At the moment, there are motherships of all sorts of, let's call them families, uh, all sorts of generations of the other uh, families, the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, but basically, if you could imagine all of the galaxies of the universe who are very focused on Earth right now, and you're going to understand in this recording of it's sort of a new understanding of what's going on. So, not a long time ago, but ever since we started making these recordings, my understanding was that they were feeling sorry for us and that we were, sort of like the ones that had gone wrong and that had, you know, uh, made all these errors and that we needed help. Well, it's actually not, that's not really what's going on. This earth, what's happening right now, it is the most challenging of all earthly realms. Well, if you were, let me just further explain that. We, as an Earth, are very much like the planets of all of the vast number of galaxies in the universe. It is the most challenging because when you come here, you are, it's sort of a, you know how I talk about the shedding of earthly attachments and all of the earthly attachments must be shed in order for us to gain the highest amount of knowledge. And that's true. But how does one do that? Well, the highest test, the absolute, if you were to take the wheel, when you do your birth chart and you look at the earthly attachments that must be shed, and I am right. When I say I am right, my theory of when you look at your birth chart and you see all these empty quadrants, that does mean that the empty quadrants indicate that you have shed you have let go of the falsities. And when you see in your birth chart a large number of empty quadrants, and then you'll see a high concentration in certain areas of your birth chart, that doesn't mean that let's say you have 6 empty quadrants and 6 that are full. That could mean that there's only one step that you have left. And so if you look at the 5 quadrants that are full, those quadrants that are full it could relate to the earthly attachments that need to be shed, but they can be done only by living on one planet. So that is where, if you're on Earth, obviously you're on Earth, that can all be accomplished here. Okay? So we know that there are more than 12 planets, obviously, but the quadrants that are full of planets on your birth chart, that can very well mean that Earth is the place where all of those can be shed. All right. So the chosen ones are those who are here on Earth, and the challenge is to obviously is to empty those quadrants, which can all be done through the work here. Now, so here's something interesting. So this is very new information to me. The reason why you're here is not just to, when I say your mission is to help others. So guess who some of those others are? They're not people here. They are your own family, because what we do in the universe is before you were born here, before you incarnated here, you volunteer to come here to bring back information to your own kind, your Arcturians, Pleiadians, on finding truths to purify your own family, because all the beings in all of the in all of the universe, they are always trying to maintain their purity, and so even they sometimes would like to refine and remember what it is that helped them to arrive at that stage. So that's why you volunteer to go back to the most challenging of all, to discover what it is that allows them to maintain the highest form of ascension. So if you're successful here, in other words, if you can withstand the incredible challenges here, when you return, you teach your own family what you learned, and they gain knowledge from you. Isn't that incredible? All right, so let me go on now. So when you left your family to come here, there was they would cry because they may not have seen you again. That's how challenging this is. So they're so happy to see you come back. The reason why they may not have seen you again is because here are the challenges. When you left your family, they cried. There was a very, very emotional, because they knew you wouldn't come back. Some of you may not come back. Now, what would have happened? What does it mean that you wouldn't come back? What does it mean? Where would you have gone? if they hadn't, if you had not withstood, well, you would have, would you have died? Well, no, because you know that life is eternal no matter what. Life is eternal. So how would you not come back? You would have gone into the chasm. How would you have gone into the chasm? Well, before first of all, your body on this planet would have aged, obviously. But, and the other thing as well is this, it's so challenging on this earth. At some point, you've heard of all of the environmental warnings because of the dark, those who don't understand what's going on with this earth and who didn't care for it. It's going into it will, because we're past the tipping point now. Environmentally, the earth is going to destroy itself. But if you are one of those people like Donald Trump and the Illuminati, they're not going to ascend. They're going to go into the chasm, which means that what will happen is when their physical body dies, they, as you know, in terms of resurrection, they won't be able to resurrect because of a number of things. First of all, because most of the Illuminati have been bred, part of their DNA or lack thereof is mixed with some of the backfill, meaning that some of them are not quite human. They are half reptilian, half of the backfill. So what happens is they will get stuck in the chasm, which is where when their soul tries to ascend, that ascension, as you know, requires the Holy Ghost. And the Holy Ghost is unable, there's an inability, as much as they could try, to get them to go back to the to heaven, which, as you know, is the Van Allen belts. It's only 11,000 kilometers away. It's right. That's where heaven is. It's right there. It's the waters on the waters, which is, it's not like seawater, but it very much behaves that way. It's the Van Allen belts with the firmament in between. They can try as hard as they can. The Holy Spirit, Ghost, God, that can do everything they can, but it's like a crack, if you can imagine, like, just metaphorically speaking, if there were to be on Earth, if there were to be a earthquake and if you were to look down, a giant crack, a chasm, and nobody can cross it. It's not God, nobody can do it. The Grim Reaper cannot extract their soul. It's impossible. So what happens is, because life is eternal, their consciousness, their soul, or whatever little they have of it, is it's immovable. It cannot cross from any realm to another. So they'll stay there forever. So it's kind of like, I had a dream the other night that I had my car was stolen, and I was in a parking lot, and it was like a triangle. Without my car, I couldn't go anywhere, and nobody would help me, and there wasn't any way of going anywhere. And it was like I was going to the shopping mall, then I went to where my car was, and then I wanted to phone someone, but I didn't have any money. Nobody would help me. It's like being like that for an eternity. And it's really a scary thought. I know that sounds silly, but that's what the chasm is. You can't go anywhere. Anyway, let me just move away from that. So let me go back to what's happening with you right now. So one of the things that you have to remember is that Earth is the most challenging of all earthly realms. Why is it challenging? Because when you volunteered to come here, as a chosen one, you volunteered to come here to basically to teach, if as long as you can make it through, as long as you, and what is it making through? When you volunteered to come here, one of the, so the goal was for you to be able to find God, first of all, to find, not find God, because you already knew who God was. When you volunteered to come here, you were actually at the highest state of ascension possible before you came here. Let me repeat that once again. The chosen ones came here before you came here, you were already at the highest state of ascension from wherever you came. So why did you come here? Why were you sent here? Why did you volunteer to come here? Because it was your volunteer. First of all, you knew all of the other realms from all of the universe, from every galaxy, from the entire universe, and you could have been from any of those. The chosen ones volunteered to come here. First of all, as a challenge, for one thing, you don't have to come here, but you came here to kind of go through the death forest, survive, come back, and remind your own family of what the most important things were, what kept you in your highest state of ascension. Because with your own family, where you came from, you want to come back and remind them of the essential things that we must hold on to maintain that state of ascension. Okay, so you're kind of coming back and saying, these are the things that keep us pure. These are the things that keep our lives wonderful. So they wanted that your own family wanted to know always what are the strongest things that we need to maintain at that highest state of ascension. So here were the things that they told you and that you knew. Here's what made it so incredibly challenging. First of all, your memory is taken away from you before you come. You're wiped of all memory. So you don't know where you came from. You have no knowledge that there's anything better. You're sent, it's like being sent to the death forest, and there's no memory of what you need to get out. Nothing. No memory at all. Okay? On top of that, you're surrounded by some very low vibrational beings, which include the reptilians, the Orions, all of the backfill, which were an error, by the way. Those were a mistake. The reason why these low vibrational people are on Earth is because millions of years ago, over a millennia, there was a decision. I'm not sure if it was a lower council of the Federation of Light who made an error. There were, if you could think of the reptilians as kind of like cockroaches, that we need to call an exterminator and get rid of them. Well, these backfill, you can call them the reptilians, they had almost no soul, like very, very little, not enough to keep the species going. They also had, what does that mean? They have what's called one strand of DNA. RNA is all they had. So as long as that means that once their physical bodies die, it's like a virus. If a virus was unable to attack a cell, it'll die. By the way, a virus is not made by the human body. The human body, God did not make viruses. Let me just stop right there because this is important. When a human being is infected by a virus was not created by God. If you ever want to do some research on where viruses come from, you can get on the internet. Okay, although the internet is a very poor source of information, but even so, just sit down and Google, where do viruses come from? And so the Google will say, oh, human bodies, when they can, no, that I didn't ask that question, Google. I said, where do viruses come from? Oh, viruses are when the human body is very susceptible. No. I asked, then you can change it to, how does the human body create a virus? And it'll do the same thing. It'll say, when a cell, da 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 da. No. What I asked, how does the human body create a virus? It'll go over, it'll go round and round and round and round and round. Viruses, the human body, God did not create a virus. Okay? Viruses came from reptilians, came from not just reptilians, but viruses came from, when we go way back, there were some very low vibrational entities like reptilians. And through the grace and mercy of God, what they wanted to do was that these low entities wanted to experience, they wanted to experience what it's like, the 3D. They wanted to, and out of the grace and mercy of God, there was, and it may not have been God, it could have been some lower council of the Federation that said, well, we'll allow them to go to Earth, because they assumed that because of their RNA structure and that they had such a low, there was a very, very low volume of soul, what they figured, and they would have been right, they were actually correct in this, is that if they allowed them to express themselves on Earth, barring all other circumstances, when their physical bodies died, they should not have been able to resurrect. In other words, they would have gone extinct. Okay? So some of them did, but some of them bred with some of the creatures that God did create. And so within that is how viruses were created. The viruses are actually ancient. So that's why scientists now are finding that deep inside the human body, there is a core that comes from this backfill, and that's why viruses are essentially RNA. What does RNA mean? One strand. one strand of DNA. Do you see that? Anyway, so viruses are not of God. Viruses, because I always thought, years ago, I used to say that, that hell exists on earth. Viruses are a form of hell. Well, that's kind of close. I was kind of close. But anyway, God did not create a virus. Everything that God created is pure. So, as dinosaurs were not created by God. Dinosaurs were not created by God. They're a form of backfill of reptilian structure, okay? Now, does anything on earth, is anything on earth a resemblance or or a product? Yes. But they're in human form right now. So the Illuminati are the leaders of the world, probably Trump, Elon Musk, probably because he's up there with Trump. Maybe Elon isn't, but if Elon is not a reptilian, then he would be in big trouble right now, and he's probably trying to get the frig away from Trump. But most of the Illuminati, most of the leaders of the world are reptilians because they've managed to look as if they are human. It's kind of like when somebody of Afro-American origin it breeds with a white person, they can look completely and totally white. It's kind of like that. So that, and I'm not saying that Afro-American people are reptilians. I'm trying to use that as an analogy, right? And let's say that the white person is the reptilian, and the Afro-American person is the pure God. You know that some of those people can turn out to be completely black looking, but what you don't see is the reptilian in them, which is the white person. I'm using that as an analogy. You get what I mean? When you combine two strands, you can, from a physical perspective, you can get something that looks as if it's completely that. Well, let's say that the reptilians appear as white people, or a pure reptilian is white. Well, you get a white person combining with a black person, and you get what looks like is a black person. So you assume they're pure God, but they bred with a reptilian, which is white. You get the idea, okay? So right now, there are people that appear as if they're purely of God. They're not. In fact, what's underneath is just nightmare. All right, let's go back to why it's so challenging. The chosen ones are here to help purify your own species, because what they're looking for is when you are united, if you can get through this, if you are when you're united with your own family, they're going to be wanting information from you. The information is, how did you get through? How did you maintain your faith in God when you had you couldn't see, you had no memory, there was nothing, God didn't show itself, you had no proof, everyone was attacking you, telling you were wrong, calling you crazy. How did you maintain your stance? How did you get that? And then you'll have each and every one of you will have your own answer. All right, so you're going back to teach them as well. Now, they're allowed to give you certain hints as you go along. So those are, I always call them signs of ascension for example, when I was doing this about 25 years ago, I went through something very traumatic. And so I started reading, I started buying all these self-help books and reading and searching. And in the middle of the book, How to Know God, I went to sleep one night and I woke up to a loud ringing of church bells, but it was so loud. It was like an old-fashioned ding 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 ding. It was like, but they were ancient bells. And I was living near a church at the time, but those weren't the bells of that church. And it got louder and louder and louder and louder and louder. And then suddenly it stopped. And I've got filled with this euphoria. And I realized that was it. That was one of the only hints that I got. There were a couple of other ones that I won't bore you to death with, but that's an example of a hint that will keep you on your path. Okay, now here's the really amazing stuff. All right, so I want to talk about government leaders for a second. One of the points that was made is there are a few, and I really like this part because my father was very high up. He's a retired senator right now, but my father was a very, very, very high up official for a very long time. He was a maverick. He always did the right thing. He served his people. He brought us around when we were little kids to his constituents, and at Christmas time, he would pile us kids all into the back of a car. And he brought us around the poorest of the poor, and brought us in, and we were all to talk to the family, and it would just make me cry because there were children with no clothes, and little girls. I remember her boobs were just about to she had no shirt on, and they used the bathroom outside and everything. There was extreme poverty, and we had to bring our gifts, all of our gifts that we got for Christmas. We got to keep one, and we had to give the rest away, which we didn't have any problem doing it. And I remember my older brother and sister, we were sitting in the back of the car, and as we were sitting there, Mom and Dad were telling we would go visit them first, then we would go back home, and then we would go back again. And on the way back home, before we had given the gifts, the way back home, my eldest sister Jocelyn, I guess she would have been about 12 at the time, and she said we should give all our gifts. We should go back and give all our gifts to those children. And she said so in a very matter-of-fact way, right? And then I looked to my brother Eli, who was younger, and he had this look on his face, his lips pierced, and really, because he really kind of, part of him didn't like it. And he switched his head one way and switched the other. And he said, "Yep, oh, yep, we should." And then I was like, "Yes, we should give them all." And so of course it wasn't mom and dad's idea. So they wanted to see what we would say. So then we went back, and then there was this fury of myself and Jocelyn And Eli grabbed together all our gifts, and then we brought them back, and then we would go and give them. So that was my parents trying to make us give our make our own decision. So it bothered me when I was originally listening to this, because all of the Galactic Federation were shitting on government, but what they're saying now is one little sentence. They said there are only a few state leaders on Earth, only a few who are aligned. Oh, what a relief I felt when they said that. And if you want to know, by the way, my father always went against his party line. He was kicked out of cabinet because he disagreed with something that they said, and but then he was quietly moved into the Senate. And then what he did at the Senate was one of the most powerful. This is in another country. It's not in the US, by the way. He began to call Senate in our country doesn't have much power, but they can hold a very important inquiries. And my father began to reform. He called, what he proved was that the farmers are being done wrong. He revised the criminal. He took away the punishments that would that were unfair. He mostly focused on farmers and unfair treatment of farmers, and he did a lot. And then he retired. He was forced to retire at a certain stage, but he was called the Maverick because he respected no one but God. And by the way, the Bible that I use the most is my father's Bible. Anyway, now let me go on to other things about you guys. So what's happening now is the chosen ones. One thing that you're going to notice is that your body is going to stop aging. So if you find that many of you look a lot younger than you really are, it's because the aging process will stop as you are starting to ascend. Because with the in the fifth dimension, which is where you're going, you don't age. Okay, the aging process stops. And there's something about the rejuvenation of the cells. You're still going to feel very emotional. And my loves, if you have any disease right now, like cancer, if somebody's given you some low vibrational doctor, what we call the here on earth, the doctor, the specialist, the person who has the wisdom of man, tells you you'll have to die soon. What a fool. Your disease will stop. Okay, so what you do now, if you have an illness and someone's told you that you're going to die, or you got cancer, let's say it's all over your body. What a joke. Maybe. But guess what, my darling? If you believe these words that I'm saying now, put your whole faith, and this is not information from me, this is a download. That organ, your disease, is going to stop. And what you need to do is whatever organ, if you can at least get the information from the so-called wisdom of man, go to your don't argue with your doctor, because they are an idiot. They are a fool. Get as much information as you can from your doctor on only one thing, which organ is affected. So if they say you have cancer, just pretend you believe them and say, can you tell me where the cancer is? Put on a big Academy Award winning performance in front of your doctor. And just for the following purpose, you need to find out which organ is affected. So they're going to tell you where you have your cancer or whatever. Write it down, pretend that you believe them, cry. Don't argue with them, because all you're trying to get is the information from that moron. Okay, so, and then you, oh, yes, 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 yes. And then you leave, okay? Now, that organ, now here's what the Galactic Federation want you to know. That organ, on your own time when you're doing meditation, the first thing you do is you apologize to the organ and you send love to the organ. You're going to restore some peace. And you talk to the organ and you tell the organ you love them and that you're so sorry about what's happened, and that you know that that the organ is suffering, and that help is on the way, and that you were going to reorganize things to assist you, and talk to the cells and just say, just relax, peace, help is on the way. Okay. And then what you want to do is you pray to all the cells in the body, and you don't tell them to do anything, but what you do is you thank the cells. You say, cells, I know that you've been doing everything you can to help, and I want to thank you so much for your efforts. I love you, I love you, I love you, and help is on the way. Whatever it is that you need, whatever communication you've been trying to send, help is on the way, and thank them for their efforts. Okay, and then you just leave it, okay? Now, okay, now here is how you can help them. And now some of you are not going to like this. So this is for everyone, but especially for people who have been told that they have cancers and all that kind of stuff. You're going to have to immediately, well, you don't have to, but here's what will really assist you in this 3D and solving the problem right away. Your diet. There are two things that I want you to remove from your diet. Number one, stop eating meat. Stop eating meat. If you cannot stop eating meat, now I would, there's one exception to this, fish, but the fish that you eat have to be cold water fish, and I would stick to codfish, okay, or trout. These are small fish. Okay, these are not shark. Don't you dare eat shark. Don't go eating tuna either. When you're the larger fish, like shark and tuna, whale, all that kind of stuff, that's not a fish in God's mind. A codfish is fine. A trout is fine. In fact, I would stick to those two fish. Trout, codfish. The kind of fish that you alone, if you had a fishing rod and you're going fishing by yourself, those are the kind of fish that you can eat. And these fish are eaten. I wouldn't go with a man to catch these fish. If you're a man, you go alone. You don't talk. You don't brag about the fish, because there's a lot of people who go out and these sport fishing, catch and release fishing. God damn those people. God damn you. Shame on you. The larger fish are not to be touched. Make that clear. That's the only exception. So those fish have something called a long chain fatty acid. I'm not using the right. And what they do is the purpose is they have something in them that strengthens the membrane of breast cells. By the way, if you have breast cancer, what happens is a cell makes decisions on its own, the cell membrane, and in order for that cell to it's like let's say a free radical. By the way, God did not create free radicals. A free radical is an atom that has one electron. There is absolutely no thing on this earth that God created that has one electron, not even the element that has one proton in it. One of the basic building blocks, the only basic building block that God created, it has a cloud of electrons around its nucleus. Every single element that was created by God has a cloud of electrons around its nucleus. Cloud. A free radical has no cloud around its nucleus. Not even gold, which has 79 protons in its nucleus, can you imagine gold having one electron? Okay? There is nothing on this earth, nothing on this earth that could ever have one electron around the nucleus. Everything that God created has a cloud of electrons around the nucleus. So a free radical is one atom of an electron of any kind that has no cloud of electrons around its nucleus. Now, if you're a scientist and you want to look into it, just try to find me. You bring to me. Try to find something that some element that has no cloud of electrons around the nucleus. It doesn't exist. Free radicals are a result of pollutants, radiation. There's a big old ton of things that are. Free radical is not a product of God. It's a product of something stupid that a human being did. Okay, now, while it's true that diseases did occur back in the time of Jesus, but remember, the whole God existed way before Jesus was here. God existed way before year zero. God existed 3,000 years before Jesus came along. Okay? Jesus and God are not the same. All right? God is the ultimate creator. Okay? Now, Jesus did not create. God created. Jesus was here to try to teach us stuff. All right, so Jesus and God are completely different. You got to understand that. Now, let's get back to some important things. So what I'm about to say does not mean that if you're a chosen one and you don't do the following things about your diet, it's not going to really change anything, but it will help immensely, okay? Your diet. If you can't stop eating meat, there's one thing you can do is do not eat meat before 8 p.m. And it's because of what happens during the sleep process, okay? During the sleep process, what happens is during the nighttime, let's say that there's that your body, which does incredible things during the nighttime, the body, and this is, I'm giving you a very rudimentary explanation of this. And by the way, this was a download. I didn't know this. I did hear this before from, and I can't even remember who told me this. Who told me this? My father told me this. I don't know where he learned this, but he said, stop eating meat after 8 p.m. And by the way, at the end of the day, my parents were not eating meat. They had changed to a diet. I remember going home to visit them once, and they had changed to a diet where they were always very healthy eaters, but they had changed to a diet where the only thing that we could eat with were chopsticks. So everything that we ate, the only exception to that was Mom had this garlic mushroom soup, which we could eat with a spoon. But after that, everything we ate could only be eaten with chopsticks. Okay. So it was there were salads, of course. Salmon, we were allowed to eat salmon. We were allowed to eat salmon, but anyway, it was smoked salmon that we were allowed to eat over salad. And what were the other things? Red onion was a big part of it. Mushrooms, garlic. Basically, all acceptable food is any kind of fruits or vegetables. You can eat unlimited fruits and vegetables, but the caveat to that is you should try, and I know it's really expensive, if you can't afford the organic stuff, try to take your fruits and vegetables and really wash it. Wash it before you eat it. Okay, that's probably because of who knows why that is. It's probably because what they spray over it. Anyway, so what you want to eat is a plus and anything that is pure. So in other words, you want to take the take the thing that you're eating, turn the bottle around, and it should have only one ingredient on it. So coconut oil should have coconut oil. There's certain types of peanut butter which are just peanut butter. What else? You get the idea. You turn it around and it's just that. In terms of milk, you're going to have to switch to almond milk. And again, don't go having the sweetened almond milk or this. It's got to be almond milk. Goat's milk is highly recommended. Anything that comes from a goat. What's the other thing? So you get the idea. Olive oil has got to be pure olive oil. It's got to be pure one thing. Okay? That'll be one thing. Now, so what you're trying to avoid here, any kind of additive. Now, here's the other thing. There's for the ladies, okay? This was particularly this is really you either wear no makeup at all, no makeup. Now, if you gotta wear makeup, ladies, you're gonna have to buy makeup from a health food store. And what you're trying to avoid are synthetic just a minute now. What is the word that's put, synthetic, something is synthetic, just a minute. It rhymes with cortisol. Does anyone know what that is? It's estrogen, something about synthetic, anyone know what that is? Don't worry about the pink lipstick, my love. Does anyone know what the, it's like something reminds, it may rhyme with estrogen, synthetic estrogen. I think that's what it is. So what it is it's like that, Ashwini. I wish I had my other device here, but there is there's a synthetic version of you'll figure it out, okay? Because what that does is Ashwini's going to find it out. Yeah, Ashwini's going to get it now in a minute. It's something like synthetic estrogens, she'll figure it out now in a minute. The only problem now, Ashwini's going to figure it out. The only problem is with the makeup that you buy that's normal is there is a version of something that Ashwini's going to figure it out now in a minute. What happens is it's something having to do with estrogen. Yeah. Does anyone have actually, I should have a lipstick here. Hang on, I'll probably, see, this is not going to have the ingredients in it. Hang on, yes, it does. I'm going to put on my glasses. I might be able to figure it out. I'm going to put on my glasses because it's in really, really, really small print. We'll figure this out. Does anyone have your lipstick there, or your lipstick or shave gel, lotion, any kind of a water-based makeup there that you bought recently or that you have? I need light and, oh, this is in a different language. Hang on now. And this is in a different language. You know why this is in a different language? Because it's Yves Saint Laurent. There is no English on this. Malapale, can you pull out your, oh, that's because I'm looking at the box that came from the bloody perfume. But over here, I have the lipstick, and isn't it interesting? Can you look on your lotion and see if the ingredients of the thanks, Ashwini. Can you? I can't get into my other device here. So can anyone click on that? What do you call it? That link there that Ashwini has put up. I want everyone, it has a OL on it. And it won't say synthetic. It'll say something OL. Let me see if I've thrown out most of my makeup, so I don't know. The structure of artificial estrogen is different from natural. Right on. Let's just see if we can get. I'm just going to run to the bathroom. I don't want to break the stream, so I'm going to see if I can find any of my makeup in the bathroom. So guys, we're trying to get you if any of you can get your lipstick or your shave gel especially, foundation, shave gel, lipstick, foundation, shave gel, lipstick. Go get your foundation, your shave gel, your lipstick. Put your glasses on, get some light, and we're going to find this thing. Just a second now. Just a second. Okay, I've got 3 products here. Okay. And let's see if, where's the ingredients on this? Let's do it now. Just a minute now. It might even be parabens as well. It might be glycerol, glycol, isoparaffin, methylparaben. How about this one? Hang on now. Some ingredients on this. Tocopherol. Just a minute now. I got to look up. Yeah. Okay. Do you have anything? Do you have anything, Mickey's, that's made by Avita? I'm gonna have to open up my. Okay. Could anyone listen? I got an idea. Does anyone have their? Can anyone look up anything on the internet right now? Could anyone look up what are a list of names of synthetic estrogens? Could anyone please Google list examples of synthetic estrogens that are in makeup? I want everyone to Google list of synthetic estrogens that are in makeup. List of synthetic estrogens. Could anyone look up what are examples of synthetic estrogens that are in makeup or that are in products, common products sold? Could anyone look up list of synthetic estrogens contained in common products or something like that? Could anyone volunteer to do that? Okay, Malapel's going to do this. And these are going to be some scientific looking names, okay? So Malapel is now going to give us a list of synthetic estrogens. This is going to be fun. This is the key thing here, okay? So here we go. And guys, this is just so you know, don't go worrying that this is not, if you don't do this, you're not going. This is just what they're telling us here is if you want to stop the aging process, ironically, if you want to stop the aging process right now, these are things that cause disease. And by the way, these are also things that cause breast cancer, and not just breast cancer, ovarian cancer, not just cancers. Some of you have oxygen zone. Okay, here we go. OXYBEN. I'm going to write this down. Where'd you get that, Mikiskaya? Where did that come from? Can you just explain, or is that a shot out of the dark? Where did you get that oxybenzone from? A long list, okay. What's second on the list? What's second on the list by except for oxybenzone? What's second on the list? And Malapil, you just keep getting the list. Just look at what Mickey Gaia said. There's a long list of bad ingredients. What's second on the list there, my love? These will have long names. And Malapil is still looking for it. See, the reason why she's having trouble finding it is this: they don't want us to know. I'm going to see if I can turn on my other device here, okay? For some of you, your doctors, okay, no. But that doesn't mean Avita is all natural. You may be right, you may be wrong, but that doesn't mean. Who told you that Avita is all natural? Because, for example, Nivea claims that it's 99%, whereas I'm looking at a long list of stuff that they have in it, and I can tell that one of them is way off the charts. See what some of the I don't think that something is purely biodegradable. That it's Nivea is not good. Because I know, I'll tell you why. I've been to many. Yeah, I'll get it for you now, guys, in a minute. And I'll tell you why I know this is true. A long time ago, I started having this huge bulge in my uterus, and the huge bulge in my uterus was so big dog. What's up? What happens is when you interrupt a live chat and you don't know what's going on, what you do is you take your cursor and you go back to the beginning of the live chat and you listen. Don't interrupt a live chat just because now that looks like, now see what, I know that's one of them. Everybody stop. Malapil, thank you. Get rid of Big Dog permanently if he comes in again. Everybody listen, guys. Top one. ETHINY LES T-R-A-D-I-O-L. See that? IL. That is a synthetic estrogen. Next one. Look at this. Malpel, you got them dead on. Next one. ESTRADIOL. VALERATE. Malpel, you've got them. You've got them all. Wow, good job. MESTRA. I gotta screenshot this. NOL. Next one. Yeah, no. And Mickey, yep. Don't take it, and I'll tell you why. Mickey, stay on. I want to tell you something you're not going to believe. 17. I'm so glad you're here, my love. I'm so glad you're here. 178 dash ESTEADIOL. Okay, I'm going to screenshot this right now. Perfect, it worked. Now, here's what I want you to do, Malpel, if you can. Okay, Malpel has got it. So if everyone should MESTRANOL. So I want you to. Well, actually, we're just going to leave this live up, okay? Now, so everyone remember, and what I'll put Malpel well, if everyone listens to this, they'll know, okay? Now, let me just repeat these again. ETHIMYLESTRADIOL is the first one that Malpel identified. Then we've got ESTRADIOLVALERATE. Number 2. Number 3, MESTRANOL. Number 4, 17B dash ESTEADIOL. I may have misspoke that. The ones that Malpel has listed are dead on. Some of the others may have been correct, but what you need to know, okay, is that what those things do, okay, is and this is especially for women. They are a synthetic form of estrogen. So it's a synthetic form, a made-up fake form. It's not the same. It's a made-up fake form of what the female body, the purest form of what the female body normally has, okay? Now, while it is true that while it may be true that a buildup of the natural estrogen may cause problems and may cause things that are, your doctor may say, oh, well, you need a little bit more of this, or so you need a little more natural estrogen, or oh, you've got too much estrogen. While that is true, the way that the doctors are correcting it is they're making it worse. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first of all give you so I'm going to give you by example a natural way of, well, I'm going to tell you what caused, for example, for those who say now for the young lady who said that she's taking something that where the doctor said, well, you need, I'm guessing the young lady who said that she's taking it for postmenopause. Just a second now. Where's Marmia? Just a minute now. One of our ladies said that she's taking it for postmenopausal to treat postmenopausal anyway. So I guess if a doctor has told you that you have too much estrogen, well, actually, a doctor may have said, where doctors told you that you need a hysterectomy. Put it this way: a doctor may tell you you need a hysterectomy because you've got a what do they call it? It's like a tumor that builds up because of too much estrogen, and so it looks as if you're pregnant, but what's happened is it doesn't cause cancer, but it looks like you on an ultrasound it's like a baby, except it's too much. It's just it's a tumor of this buildup of, I can't remember what they called them. They call them I can't remember what they call them. But here is how you treat this. Here's how you treat it. A fibroid tumor. Kayla is right. Kayla is right. Mika's right. You'll be told that you have a fibroid tumor, okay, in your uterus. And then they will tell you to get a hysterectomy. And then they will tell you that if it's over 9 inches, you have no choice but to get a fibroid tumor. Now, I'm going to tell you an actual true to life story, and it's my story. So I think I was about 35 years old. I hadn't had any children, and I desperately wanted to have a child, but I'd waited a long time because my parents always thought that having children was a waste of time. But I'm not blaming it on them, but that's the illusion that I was living under. And so when my doctor told me that he was very just casually said, "Oh, you just know it," and I was scared that I had cancer first, or ovarian cancer. He said, "No, it's just a fibroid tumor. That's all. This needs to be corrected is just get a hysterectomy." And then my heart dropped, and I thought, "Oh my God, I don't want to have a hysterectomy because I want to have a baby." And I just about died. And so the next thing, and I said, "Is there any way of getting rid of it?" And he went, "Oh, no." He said, "At this size, I'll send you for an ultrasound. We'll see how big it is." He said, "But this, he chuckled, right? And so I got a little slip, and I was being sent basically where women are sent who are pregnant are sent to check on the baby. And so a few weeks later, I go to have my ultrasound, and in the lobby, I was there with almost everyone else waiting were pregnant. And I was sitting there holding back tears because I looked pregnant, but I wasn't, and everyone else was pregnant. And I was literally holding back tears. And so I went in to have the ultrasound, and the women were really, really nice. And they told me, wow, they were all remarking that they had one come after the other because they couldn't believe how big it was. And so they took pictures and everything, and they were really, really nice to me. And they said, "You go back to your family doctor now." And they didn't say anything, they weren't allowed to. And then my heart began to drop because it was 9 inches. It was 9 inches large. And something in me knew that there was a way to do this without taking out my uterus. So I Googled a little bit and I found one or two of these miracle stories of a woman who, there was one where a woman went into church and it was a story in another country, and the tumor completely disappeared. She had prayed. And then there was another, they called him a kooky doctor, and he had come up with an anti-fibroid diet. And there was testimony after testimony, and then I began to calm down. And what the doctor had said was, he said, this diet will shrink any fibroid tumor you have if you stay on the diet. And then I said, yes, because I knew that this would help. And first he began to explain why. He said that what happens is, when you eat, first of all, when you eat meat, especially after 8 p.m., meat is very difficult to break. The body has it takes a lot of time to break down meat during the nighttime. The most important work is done in the night when you're sleeping. And the body is very intelligent, and it has, it's almost like when a pilot is doing a checklist, there is an exact order of things where things are done. And at the very top are to break down the things that can cause the most, well, I don't know, whatever it is. At the top of the list are things that have certain qualities to them, no matter what. They don't specifically look for things, but at the top of the list are things that have these qualities. And the first is meat, although they're not looking for meat, but the first thing has the qualities of meat. Right after it has the qualities of cancer. After that come alcohol, and then down the list it goes. It doesn't know why, but that's what it does. Now, what does that mean? What that means is that it's going to spend the majority of its time looking for, it's going to waste an enormous amount of time on breaking down the meat that you ate. So all that important time that is spent doing that you ate is all the time that's wasted. Next thing comes cancer stuff. And cancer really is the same thing as these tumors. It doesn't say cancer, it treats everything as a tumor, right? And then after that, down the list it goes. So, what you do, if for women, if you can't stop eating meat, at least don't eat it early in the day. If someone invites you over for dinner, it's got to be 5 p.m. and you stop eating the meat. Make sure you don't eat meat after 8 p.m. I would take it out altogether. Now, the other thing is alcohol, and I can guess a reason for this. There are, the thing about alcohol is, with every cell, there are very large packets called lysosomes, okay? And what alcohol is, that the body actually treats alcohol as a poison. And so the body, what it's going to do is it's going to activate the lysosomes, which they break down the alcohol. That's why you can drink alcohol without dying. The body is going to break down those poisons. And then down the list it goes, okay? Now, so that'll just give you an example of what happens. Now, so for the estrogens in the synthetic estrogens, okay, it's the same thing. There's something about the synthetic estrogens that distract when the body is breaking down things. These synthetic estrogens are very complicated compounds. So what the body is doing is it's very, very distracted by trying to break these things down, okay? So estrogen, extra estrogen, is at the lowest of the list if your body is full of synthetic estrogens. It takes so long for your body to process these synthetic estrogens, it doesn't get to break down the estrogen. So the estrogen is going to end up right where it's supposed to be in the uterus, because that for some reason it needs to be there, but it gets to have a party. Woohoo! The estrogen is having a party. Come on, we all get the estrogen is having a fucking party down there because it gets to do all this stuff. The body is saying, you go ahead, party as much as you want to. Next thing you know, what do you have? The party gets bigger and bigger and bigger to the point where they're going wild. And then you've got a great big thing that looks like a baby. It's huge. That's called, there's nothing wrong, it's not a poison, it's just a buildup of friggin' estrogen. That's why it's not cancer. And it creates a tumor of all this estrogen that you don't need. But now it's taking up space. So all of a sudden you feel uncomfortable. You can't eat. When you eat, you feel full. You feel there's some pain, and it's in the way of all these things that are supposed to happen down there. You're constipated, you're feeling full. It's a horrible feeling. So a doctor is going to say, well, let's just take out the whole fucking uterus, but the synthetic estrogens are still there somewhere, It's so the actual hysterectomy is, you're still putting poisons in your body. It's just there's not going to be a party, but who knows what else is going to happen after that. Okay, so that's why cancer comes back, right? Cancer comes back because we don't know. We're doing, when we have these surgeries and radiations and zapping stuff, we actually just don't understand what's going on. So while surgery may temporarily stop the problem, and while radiation may temporarily stop the problem, the real problem is what we're eating. Okay, so anyway, so I'll just continue on now with, and I'm not saying that if you don't do this, I'm just, what I'm talking about is sickness. Okay, this has nothing to do with whether or not you're still a chosen one. Okay, but you want to be alive by the time that it's ready to, that we're ready to go into our 5D. Okay, so water, you got to drink water as much as you can. Alcohol, you either really reduce it or don't eat it at all. Meat, you either really reduce it, don't eat after 8 p.m., or just don't eat it at all. So let me just tell you what I did with my diet. I was scared, so of course I went on the ultra anti-fibroid diet. Really easy. Ultra anti-fibroid diet. Fasting will help. Martin just said, do you know what? Martin, I got to tell you something. What brilliancy you have. One of the stories of miraculousness was, there was a person who went on it was a massive fast, a 30-day fast. Now on that fast, he was allowed to drink water. And what was the other thing he was allowed to eat? I think he was allowed to eat unlimited fruits and vegetables, but that's a fast. Okay, fasting will definitely help. It literally will. It'll disappear in less than a month. Your fibroid tumor will disappear in less than a month. Now, if you can't absolutely fast, this is something like a fast. Okay, no meat. Here's the diet that I went on, and guys, it was easy. I loved it because I wanted to have a baby. Okay? No meat whatsoever. This is the diet I tried. 0 meat, 0 alcohol, unlimited fruits and vegetables. Let me repeat that. Unlimited fruits and vegetables. Now, here's the kicker. You're not going to like this. No milk, no yogurt, no butter, no milk. That's a rule, okay? That has absolutely no milk, which means no butter, no yogurt, no milk. That's what makes it really hard. I did eat oatmeal. Pure steel cut oatmeal is okay, but you're not allowed to have sugar. No sugar. No sugar. No sugar. Okay? No alcohol. No alcohol. You're allowed to eat cold water fish. So you can have salmon. I ate salmon. Yes, salmon steaks, right? You're allowed to have trout. You're allowed to have cod. You're allowed to use virgin. I used extra virgin olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil. You're allowed to use any pure spice that you want. So in other words, but it has to be pure. What the best one I found was just a minute now. Fennel. You can have fennel seed, ground fennel, and if you're lucky enough to be living in one of those places where you can get organic fennel, as it looks kind of like it's a vegetable. In some places they make fennel salad. You can have fennel, and I hate to tell you this, you can have potato if you want, but no butter on your potato. No butter on your potato. Has to be pure vegetable. Don't you go sneaking one tiny little butter on that potato. Okay? Pure vegetable. Carrots, turnip. You can have any pure spice that you want. So you can use paprika. What was the one that I used a lot? Thyme, rosemary, cilantro, big time. Cilantro, fresh cilantro is great. Fresh cilantro. Snow peas, fresh snow peas. Organic oranges, lemon, anything that's fresh, watermelon, fresh, anything that's fresh. And you can have if you're craving something sweet, go into the fruit section and get yourself like a mandarins or watermelon. What's sweet that is raspberries, blueberries. Can anyone think of a sweet vegetable that tastes peaches? No peaches in the can because there will be syrupy stuff in there. Almond milk is fine because it's not really milk, but it has to be pure almond milk. Don't go getting the sweetened kind. Coconut milk is fine, but that's not going to taste sweet. Now, the coconut milk is nice because you can use it for cooking. You could pour it on your trout or your cod. Anyway, you get the idea. It basically, if it's, and Jean is so right, you got to wash them. If you can get with your dishwashing soap, what you want to get is something that Look, I always fall back on sunlight. I always go to the stuff that my mom used to buy when we were really young. She would buy the stuff that she tended to, but even then, you're going to notice that the sunlight has got a little bit of this. But just put it on, wash it, 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 wash it. Now, coconut milk is great to have, and coconut oil is great to have in your house. Put some coconut. You can get it in the in the form where it isn't oily, and you coconut oil, and because you can use it on your skin to moisturize yourself, and you can use it for cooking as well. Same thing with olive oil. Don't worry about what people think. You just don't worry about what people think, okay? Now, I want to talk about how you can, skin and hair. Yep, you got it, 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 you got it. So now, here is the problem. This is sweet almond oil. Yeah, just make sure you have a look at the ingredients. Make sure there's nothing extra in it. Now, here's how you can really screw up your this thing. Would you believe that if you're a lady and you're in the bathroom, here's how you can really soak up a lot of chemicals. So for those of you who shave your legs, I do, and put on makeup and put moisturizer over your skin and use hair products like I do, here's how you can really screw up without even knowing it. Do you know that when you put shave gel on your legs and shave your legs, your body is soaking up some of the stuff that's in your shave gel? If you either stop shaving your legs, or you can use another way of shaving your legs is pour some olive oil over your legs and use that as shave gel. That's a cheap way of doing it. If you have to use shave gel, go to your local, go to your local place where you buy your pure spices and everything. What do they call it? I don't even know what they call it. Your local, there's stores where you can buy pure ingredients, whatever they call it. It's usually where you get your pure spices and your pure this and your pure that. Sweetie, you could be right about that. And then I'm just looking at Pearl. Don't need to shave legs, hair all gone for me. Some of you, yeah. Pearl, when my mother went through cancer, she's had all of a sudden had these smooth legs, and her hair stopped growing. So some of you naturally have, I don't know how it happened. Some of you don't need to shave your legs. Organic shop. Thank you, Deidre. Your local organic shop. Some of you don't need to shave your legs for whatever reason. You don't have hair. Hats off to you. Yeah, Pearl, look, whatever you went through, there are some people who just don't have hair on their legs. So you don't have to worry about it. Amazing. So I did find I found there will be a makeup section in the organic shops, and they will sell lipstick, foundation, shave gel, all stuff that doesn't have this stuff. Here's the problem. Whoa, is it expensive? So, if you're one of these hoity-toity, I gotta look a certain way people, which I used to be, well, you're gonna have to break the bank. It's better than that than keep on with the tumor. Now, let me tell you my story. I was told that I would have to have a hysterectomy. I was told that it was impossible for a 9-inch fibroid tumor for me to be able to shrink to have a diet. Do you want to guess how small it went down to? 1 inch is what it went down to. 9 inches, 1 inch. To the point where if I wanted to, I wanted to, I could have had a baby. Now, listen to, and I did want to, but I won't tell you what happened, but I just, certain other things became more important after that I had to deal with. But let me tell you something, what else happened. I lost so much weight. It was like all of a sudden everybody was saying, oh my God, wow, so it was, and I didn't even have the losing weight was not on my agenda at that point. It just wasn't. But anyway, I didn't keep it up gradually. I went back to, I should probably go back on it now because I got a lot of weight on right now. But look at this, Martin, my brother is a cancer survivor. Martin, what do you think your brother did to get over his cancer, by the way, in your mind? And I'm not, by the way, this is in no way, I'm not telling anyone not to have the radiation or the chemo or anything. I'm not talking about this podcast is not to put down any traditional, it's not to put down radiation, or I'm just trying to explain to you how fibroid tumors start. Martin is going to explain to us now, if he doesn't mind, his thoughts on how his brother got over it. And it may have simply been through Martin's prayers. But anyway, we're going to see now if there's anything. And if you don't want to answer, Martin, don't you worry. I'm being a nosy person here. And at the end of this, I'm going to tell you some wonderful things that you're going to love about the future. That you're just not going to believe, but I think we're going to believe. That I recently learned. So Martin is going to hopefully, just one thing too, Martin, you don't have to, just one contributing factor to how your brother survived cancer, you think, one thing that contributed. And I'm only saying because I'm nosy. I just, by the way, as I'm waiting here for Martin's question, I just opened a split of cards, and I've got the 2 swords and the Ace of Cups. I bet that's going to correspond to whatever Martin's about to say. Peace and love. Let's see what Martin says. So Martin, we're hoping that Martin might share his theory on how his brother, I'm loving this live, by the way, on how his brother, reason why his brother, Martin says, Melville, Martin can hopefully share with us. He's probably thinking very carefully about this. Let's see. I'm hoping, praying that Martin, we're all waiting anxiously. So Martin, it's all on you now. You don't have to answer, Martin, if you don't want to. So what we're asking Martin here, Deidre, I really feel we have to speak nicely to, oh yes, Deidre, well, part of the message was, just a second now. Did she say, I took notes on, did she say, apologize to the organ affected, she said. I didn't get it. See, when I get these downloads, I'm massively scribbling because it's so bad. It's so fast how she speaks. The main thing was to apologize to the organ affected and send it love. Deidre says, so Deidre is so correct. Oh, I remember. And thank our body and limbs. That was the other part of the message. Deidre, what you just said was in completely, okay, listen, anyway, I've finished my thought here. Deidre, what you just said was what the download said, to speak to the organ affected, and then to thank the body and the cells for the work that it's already done. Yeah. Now, 66 double says, I survived uterus cancer operation, no chemo, and I will to live and love myself, eat healthy. There you go. There you go. And as I said, like, I am not a proponent, we are not saying 66 double, I lost two sisters. And how did you lose your two sisters, 66 double? How did you lose your two sisters, my love? If you don't mind saying. Did they have it as well and they were scared? Cancer. And were they scared when they found out that they had cancer? How did they react? Sorry, I'm being really nosy here today. I'm being so nosy. DD at 66 double is very connected to God, very faithful. $66 double. So we've got two questions out now. 66 double. They admitted to death. And so in other words, they just, yeah. And can you tell me, you refused, yeah. And can you tell me why? So did your sisters, when they found out that they had cancer, did they think that there was any other way? Did they think, oh, well, this is going to happen, I can't stop it? Like, how, did they, warrior double, oh, Srini, I love you. Katie was. Thank you, Kayla. Thank you, Kayla. Thank you, Kayla. God love you. God love you, Kayla. Thank you. I'll tell you, Ashwini and I the other night. So here was Ashwini over in India, and yeah, no, I didn't get the reply, Martin. Here's what I got, Martin. Here's the last thing I got. So Martin said, your brother is a cancer survivor. Okay? And then my question to you was, what was the key, do you think, to your brother being a cancer survivor? So I'm scrolling down for your reply. And I don't see the reply. The next thing is I said, did my reply not appear in the chat? It did not. Okay? So the question that I asked you was, Martin, was what was the key, do you think, to your brother being a cancer survivor? And your reply, we haven't received yet. So can you reply again? So the question that we have for you, Martin, is, you said your brother was a cancer survivor. And I asked you, what do you think was the key to your brother being a cancer survivor? And your reply did not appear in the chat. That's weird. That's incredible. You can see it, but we can't. You can see it, but we can't. Wow. Martin, maybe there was a word that YouTube. Yep, malapale could be right. Malapale could be right. Try phrasing it in a different way, Martin, because there could be a word that's off limits. Doesn't that say it all about YouTube? Yeah, change some of the words because it's possible that guys, isn't that friggin' weird? Isn't that something? See, the devil is in everything. The devil is in YouTube. Martin, see if you can reply reply by emoji and see if we can reply by code and see reply by code, Martin, without words and see if we can figure it out. So emojis or something. Okay, he had his left ear and lymph nodes. Left ear and lymph nodes up to his jawbone surgically removed. Let's listen to this for a second. Left ear. That's the left ear and lymph nodes. Which lymph nodes, Martin? Because there are a lot of lymph nodes. Which lymph nodes? Do you know which lymph nodes? Do you have any idea which lymph nodes? I'm going to Google this right away. What's going on? Ah. Kayla, I get it that it was his willpower. Intuitively. Hang on. And his jawline on that side. Okay, hang on, guys. I'm gonna Google for a second. Yeah, it is black. Chuck Cheese, go back to the beginning of the live and start listening. Chuck Cheese, go back to the beginning of the live and start listening. You can't be part of this unless you understand what it is. Chuck Cheese, go back to the beginning of the live and start. Thanks, my love. Thanks, my love. Thank you. Okay, guys, I'm going to see if I can figure out what the lymph nodes on the left side is responsible for. Stand by, guys. This is really important. Hold on. I feel like this is going to be groundbreaking. Okay, so for anyone who's joined, if anyone knows what the lymph nodes that are closest to the jawline on the left side are for. What are the lymph nodes closest to the jawline on the left side for? What are the lymph nodes closest to the jaw line on the left side? Four. Here we go. 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 Just a moment now. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Just a minute now. So I think what we need to Google instead are functions or list of all lymph nodes in the body and their functions. How about that? Okay. Lymph nodes of the human body. We've got about 600 of them. Oh, great. Okay. Going to look at the ones that are in the top part. We'll get it. So, okay, I got it. We just need to blow up this body, this picture here. So it was either, but that's on the left. Yeah, that's the right. No, we need the lymph nodes on the left side, for fuck's sakes. We need lymph nodes on the left side of the body. Hang on. Lymph nodes on the left side of the body and what they're for. Lymph nodes on left side of body and their functions. Lymph nodes on the left side of the body and their functions. Here we go, guys. We're almost there. Here we go, guys. We're almost there. Just a minute now. We're almost there. We are almost there, guys. These are the supraclavicular lymph nodes location. There is. So there's the left ear. We've got there's still a whole back. We've got 1, 2, 3, submandibular. We've got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to choose from. Now, we need to match that up with their purposes. Okay, no problem. We're going to figure this out. Just a minute. Just a minute. Just a minute. It's probably the retro-auricular ones, because that's the closest to the left ear. All right, let's try the retro. Let's try the, I could be wrong because there are a lot more. RE, or it could be the pre. Yes, honey, hang on. Let's try the retro, RETROAURI. Honey, hang on. I'll be ready very soon, sweetheart. Lymph node groups. Yes, honey, mommy will be ready soon, sweetheart. Mommy will be ready soon. Okay, guys, we're almost ready. Just a minute. We're almost ready, guys. We're almost going to get this. Yes, honey, I love you. They're a part of the immune system, by the way, guys. Hang on. They also filter. Just a minute. They're part of the immune system. Just a minute. Okay, so there are lymph nodes in the neck, armpits, and groin. So we're looking for cervical lymph nodes, okay? So we're looking for the purposes of the cervical lymph nodes, and they're part of the immune system. Now, just a minute. So we want to know, we want to know functions of the cervical lymph nodes. Functions of the cervical lymph node. Can I ask you a question now? One quick question. Martin, did he have this surgery before or after his cancer went away? Martin, I need to know if he handled this. Sorry, I need to know if your brother had the surgery before or after the cancer went away. I need to know if he had are you saying that did he have I'm guessing it was before, but I may be wrong. Because we want to get to the truth here, so just make sure you answer truthfully. Because there's two answers here. We want to know from Martin if he had the cancer before or after the cancer went away. Thank you, Jack Cheese, if you're referring to me. We want to know from Van Gogh. We want to know from Martin if did the cancer go away after he had the surgery or before he had the surgery? I'm guessing that he had the surgery before the cancer went away. Or do you think the surgery caused the cancer? Like, was the surgery good or bad, basically, is what I'm wondering. And while he's doing that, I'm going to keep finding the node. Okay, I think I've got it. So what happens is a lymph node, when it's working properly, it's fine. So in other words, this is normally a lymph node will indicate cancer, all right, or something that's wrong. But you have to go back. What causes a lymph node to dysfunction? A lymph node can dysfunction. Hang on, I'm going to go back to this thing now. From a bacteria or a virus. Now, remember that a virus is not something that was caused by the human body, as we've just discussed a moment ago. So this is funny. It's not that when a lymph node is normal, it will be detecting, problems, cancer and stuff like that. But when a lymph node is not functioning normally, the way that it looks and reacts does not mean that there's cancer, okay? So it's a sign that a virus has in fact affected the lymph node itself. So what the answer to that is, now there's probably a lot that we don't know. So the answer to, okay, I got to look at what Martin's response is. He told the surgeon if he accidentally cut the vagus nerve to end him. I don't understand that. Hang on now, I got to go back. Martin probably, yes. Yes, that's right. Okay, I'm going back to Martin's responses here. What's Martin's previous? No, has check on silent. No. I'm going back to, I'm glad he's still with us. Okay, Going back to Martin's original response. Lymphatic system on that side. So in other words, what Martin is saying is that let's do it now. Surgeon removed the lymphatic system on that side. Anyway, what it appears is that it really doesn't matter. Something cancerous on his ear, that's fine. Too much sun. But anyway, just so everybody knows, the lymph node, so we all focus on the lymph node as being, we all function on the lymph node as being its function and, what it indicates. If it's swollen, it indicates a problem, blah, blah, blah. But what happens if the lymph node itself is not has been affected, is not functioning properly? Then what it's telling us is actually not accurate information. Well, apparently the lymph node itself can be affected by a virus, in which case it's not functioning properly. And remember that the virus is not a virus, as you know, if you go back, a virus was never created by God. A virus is not created inside the human body. A virus can be picked up or caught. It's not natural. A virus is caused by a free radical, essentially, which is an atom that has no field of electrons. It has one electron in its field, right? It goes back to reptilians, and there's some people will say, yeah, well, inside the human body is an ancient store of blah blah blah. Yeah, but that wasn't created by God. That wasn't originally there. That most viruses come from something that is extremely ancient, which makes total sense because originally it came from something that God didn't create, like reptilian. Now let's continue on, okay, with the good news, just so so this doesn't fizzle out. So where was I? Where was I? All right. So here's all the good news. So the good news is that if you can imagine that what's happening to you guys right now is that you are, before you came here, like we used to think, even when we began these lives, that this was, it's just incredible, the misconception that we had before, you became ascended. If you could imagine a vast, vast, vast universe that's full of incredibly beautiful, friendly galaxies, and yes, with aliens and many different types of species that some look something like us, others don't look like us at all, others look like those cute little skinless alien type structures. And if you can imagine that there is in one of these galaxies, there's one galaxy that's used for, it's very, 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 very challenging. It's where you go, it's where everybody goes every now and then to face the challenges of the soul of the highest degree. It's to purify, it's for the good of all the galaxies, because what they do is they send each and every galaxy, because they want to maintain their pure form and they want to maintain peace everywhere in every galaxy. They want to make sure that we're always ascending to a beautiful state. Every now and then, there are a group of souls whose eternal mission, their entire lives are spent doing what we're doing right now. And when you left, yeah, the way that you know that you were one of these volunteers, that's called the chosen one, is that when you left, before you incarnated into this life, there was a real sadness. You were saying goodbye to your soul family, your friends, and there was real sorrow, because there was a knowing that some of you wouldn't make it because of how challenging this is. Okay? But you were brave to come here. And the reason why is, and I didn't know this, 2 weeks ago, I didn't know this. 2 weeks ago, I didn't know this. I thought that we were just the dum-dums here and that everyone was looking down on us. No, everyone is watching and marveling right now, because a lot of you have made it. Not all 144,000 did, but a lot of you have. If you're listening right now, you have. Pat yourself on the back. You have incarnated. You were, before you came here, at the highest state of ascension. And you were strong enough that you were willing to come here, and the challenge was that you knew they're going to take away your memory. That was part of the massive part of the challenge was you won't have your memory. We don't have our memory right now. We don't have our memory, but you're starting to remember now just by listening to this. And thank God, because it's a sign that you made it. So imagine without your memory, you have no memory, which means there's no proof. You were somehow put here and with no proof of where you came from, no proof of God, no proof that there is a loving God, no proof that there's anything else than this. Your eyes will not show you, your ears won't show you, your five senses won't show you. On top of that, you're here with the lowest vibrational, you're here with the rulers of there's government here. And by the way, when we leave here, there is no government. There's no stress. There's no lack. You'll never lack again. That's not the way we normally function. There's no cruelty. There's no judgment. There is no government because you're at such a high state of ascension. There's no need for police because you're peaceful. You never ever do badly onto another. There's absolutely no need. If you ask yourself today, hey, what would happen if we took away police and government? Well, I'm sure most of you would say, to have people murdering everybody, which we would, because these people here, most of the people can't govern themselves. They don't know what's right and wrong. They're selfish. That's how highly ascended a place you came from. It's such high ascension. People care for themselves and they care for each other. And there's such a light, positive feeling. It's just normal. Okay? So just it's incredible when you think about that. And you must believe, you will believe, and you will believe soon. The truths are that there is a God, and God is actually in human form, like his natural state is I don't know anything about his DNA, but if you want to know what he looks like, think of the emperor in the tarot deck. That's what he looks like. Now he is light years away, like he is at the very, very edge of the universe. But the being that, and his natural state is in a form that looks like us. It's a little bit bigger and more muscular. He does have a white beard, and he is, in terms of age, it's like, millions, billions of years old. He doesn't age. That's why I want to tell you that what part of what you might notice about yourself is that you're not aging. From now here, you'll stop aging. Okay. Anyway, it's a sign of ascension. Jesus, who in his natural state is in heaven. Okay, so he goes back and forth. He visits all these planets in all the galaxies often. Okay, and the thing is, Jesus and God are the most popular characters of all the universe. They're just so highly regarded, so respected, and so loved. There is no hierarchy. That's the other thing. Like, there's a natural feeling of hierarchy, but it's earned out of respect and love. The rest of the universe, there's no need for, that's why every time I have these downloads, I was always asking, wondering where's the, but I want to know who's the top of the top, who's the ruler. And they don't think like that. They're telling me you can't, if you're thinking like that, that's old school. That's earthly way of thinking. There are no governments in these higher states, because governments rule people, and what that means, that people have to be ruled because of ego and greed and all that stuff. Governments are not necessary. They're not a part of the other galaxies. They're so highly ascended that peace is always there. And people share, so there's never any lack. There's unlimited resource. There's also people who, whatever people are doing it, we don't really call it work, but people are engaged in their passion, which is always creative and for the good of all. It's people are happy. Happiness is the normal state. So I think that's all. That was all the message, except that you want to keep. And the other thing I can reiterate is that it's very important for you to understand that on Earth, on this Earth, in order to be brought from a state, let's say your state is normally, because everyone has a normal state, okay? Some people's normal state is like God. Let's just say it's in the form of a body, okay? So an alien's normal state could be in the form of an alien body. Other people's normal state is in the state of let's say an angel. Well, the chosen one's normal state is in the state. Well, actually, it could be either. Okay, so the thing is, in order to move around, in order to have eternal life, which is which is the reality, which is, it's what makes you loving and pure. Christ is the key, because Christ, it gives you life wherever you want. Christ brings you from one realm to another and gives you your form wherever you're going. It's the waters of life, okay? So when a child is born here on earth, when the Christ energy, the mother, for example, why is the mother living and breathing? The mother is living and breathing because she has Christ energy in her. So when she gets pregnant, the child that's in her womb is alive only because the mother is giving the child, the baby in her womb, life, is giving the mother is giving the baby Christ energy. So that means that the heart is beating. That's proof that the child has Christ energy, because the heart is beating. All right. Now I'm going to add some science to this as we go along. Before I begin, now, if you look at hardcore science and what it tells us about what happens to a baby when it's born, I'm sure you've seen all sorts of movies where when a baby is born, what happens in the movies, the doctors spank the baby, or the doctors shove things down the baby's throat and to try to, they think that the baby's belly is full of amniotic fluid. That's not true. Actually, gravity would tell you that that's not true, because the baby's upside down. The baby is not, the baby's belly is not full of amniotic fluid. Okay, so what happens, the baby's heart begins beating around 5 or 6 weeks. Okay, that's when the baby is alive. All right, now when the baby is born, it comes out of the mother's body, the baby at that point will begin to die because the baby has not been anointed with the Christ energy yet. So if you look at what happens to a baby's body, to a baby's lungs, for example, let's just look at the baby's lungs between zero, that let's call zero when the baby comes out of the mother's body, and we'll go up to 20 seconds. And let's look at what happens to the baby's heartbeat and lungs. This is hardcore science. Now, there's not a lot of scientific evidence on this, but if you look for it, you'll find it. As soon as the baby comes out of the mother's womb, there's no heartbeat. There's no heartbeat, and there's no breathing. Within 10 to 15 seconds, the heartbeat goes slower, slower, and slower. And then that's why there's the panic, and the doctor spanks the baby and puts things down the baby's throat. And then all of a sudden, the scientific evidence will show you in the volume of the lungs, the first breath will fill the lungs up in the hugest volume, almost enough to blow up the lungs that has ever been seen. That will be the largest breath that the baby ever takes. And then the heart will start beating. And then every breath after that will be less and less and less. And you know what? You want to know what happened right before that first? That was the anointing from the little, let's call it the little dove that came down through the Van Allen belt, which is very important, the little ghost, the Holy Spirit, to baptize the baby, to put the Christ energy in the baby, to give it life, its own life. And that is why no baby ever needs to be baptized in any church, for God's sakes, any church man. Your normal baptism took place before you took your first breath by the real Christ love, which exists in every religion, in Muslim, in Islamic. Every God exists in every single religion. Every single religion has a piece of the truth. It's just that, it's all of them have a piece of the truth. One ought not to judge any religion, because we're all striving for a piece of the truth. That is the truth. So were it not for the Van Allen belt, which is when you look at the book of Genesis, you'll see a reference to waters on waters and the firmament in between. That is where Jesus Christ resides. That is where angelic forms can enter and exit in human form. A human form cannot enter the Van Allen belt. Let me repeat that. To the astronauts, to NASA, to Trump, to Elon Musk, a human form cannot enter the Van Allen belt. You fool. You enter there and you will die. Your body will die, and oh boy, you moron. You leave that alone. You leave that alone. You respect that. You go back to your books. You get down on your hands and knees. And you apologize to the Almighty, you fool. Sorry. I'm addressing the self-righteous there and the Illuminati. Similarly, when you die, you don't die. When your body dies, it's a very natural process. It's a beautiful process. The real you, as long as the Van Allen belt is intact, will be assisted then by the Holy Ghost. You can think of the Holy Spirit as the anointing of the baby after it's born. The Holy Ghost will then beautifully, it's almost like take your hand, they're right there, bring you straight to the Van Allen belt. Remember, only the angelic forms can enter the Van Allen belt. Bring you up to the firmament, which is what I like to call the lobby, which is a great place. It's a temporary place. Heaven is like a lobby. And all sorts of conversations are taking place there. And after that, certain discussions are taking place. Now, I can't tell you what happens there because that's up to Jesus and the lady in the Justice Garden, all sorts of other things. But from there, after that, there are so many cool places that you go. Here's what I didn't know. There is a myriad of planets that you can go to that are like, holy moly, utopia. It's unbelievable. Physical form, yes, unbelievable places. These are the planets where the aliens are, and they're the way that they function and the things that they have for you to do. And it's so awesome, you cannot imagine. It's nothing like what you think. It's like you're not going to believe how amazing it is. Okay, heaven is temporary. Now, there are other levels of heaven. There are some of you who have been literally to every single planet in the entire universe. And there are two other levels of heaven that you can go to. And these are only for people who are kind of done with, the physical life. And they actually want to go to, I call it Makolta, but it is, it's where the Ascendant Masters go. You hear tarot readers talk about Ascendant Masters, and they go to a place that is not really material, but they watch their descendants, and they're allowed to make interventions. God, it doesn't, they stand by. I do not believe they need God's approval. These are the heavy hitters. They're allowed to do punishments and things. But anyway, but that's what it's like, okay? This is all true. Now, does anyone have any questions before I shut down? Which is why it's very ironic. It's what the Illuminati are doing right now. The Illuminati, the Trump and all the leaders of the world who are just so misguided. Anyone who thinks that here on earth that death is the end, and part of the reason for us to be around them is that they're supposed to be a distraction, because you see, can you imagine the incredible journey that you've been on and the incredible faith that you had in God, and just your meat suit God. Is this correct, Martin? Can you imagine? I want you to stop now and imagine how incredible you are if you managed to know that without any, you had no proof, and some of you still have absolutely no physical proof, but you just know that some of what I'm saying is right. You don't believe it all, but hats off to you. That's okay. No motivation is. Chuck, what is your biggest, let it out, Chuck. Like, you don't have to have motivation as,
What's the biggest thing that you have trouble? Can you just ask one? I just here to listen, cope and get. Well, God love you, Chuck. Just the fact that you're here listening means that it's like hats off to you, because you wouldn't be listening if there wasn't something in it that you thought was worth putting in your back pocket for later. So hats off to you, Chuck. Hats off to you. Because what it means is that there's something in this that's telling you, I put this in my back pocket. I might pull it out for later. God love you. You won't regret it. Put in your back pocket in your filing cabinet, because I'm telling you, if you weren't one of the chosen ones, you would not be even listening to this. Is there anyone, because I'm going to shut down now and take a little rest. Anyone who has any question, I promise I won't get mad at you. That's fine, Chuck, that's fine. When you say I can't stay here, do you mean here on Earth? I can't stay here means so many things. And anyone else, anyone before I shut down, have any questions? Whether it's, I don't want to face the ridicule of people thinking I'm trolling. No, you're not trolling, my love. I know a troll from a troll, believe me. I'm psychic as fuck. You're not a troll. Excuse my language, guys, by the way. But before I go, is there anyone who has a question that you want to ask? Don't be shy. Don't be shy. It doesn't matter how small or big. Kayla. Okay, my love, Kayla. God love you, my sweetheart. I'll talk to you later. I'll be posting some more stuff later on. God love you. God love you. Kayla, I love you so much. I love you, Kayla. My sister. Not stay. I can't stay here. You can't stay here? Why not? Come on. Do you want to email me and I'll answer in code? How do you know when the timeline changed? There was some stuff she said about that. Hang on. There was some stuff she was saying about that. Oh, you need less sleep. She said you may know that you need less sleep. Hang on now. She said you may notice that you need less sleep. Hang on, see if I took some notes on that. Dreams. You may have some dreams. Might give you some important clues. Okay, Chuck, I know what you're talking about, and I can answer that in any second. Don't worry. I'll answer that, and you have nothing to worry about. Okay, sleep pattern, sleep needed. Time pattern changes. Just a second now. Number of probabilities. Yeah, all I know is, I want to answer Chuck's question because it's really important. So first of all, you don't need to know this, that when you're saying, how do I know when the timeline changes? It's, first of all, that's something that you don't need to know. Okay. But you may notice that your sleep patterns change. Like sometimes you may sleep for a long time and then you may go for 3 or 4 days without sleeping. And then you sleep for a really long time. Or if you're one of these people that has normal pattern of sleep. You may find yourself waking up 3 and 4 in the morning. You need less sleep. You may have there may be dreams that you're having that you don't have to understand the dreams, that there could be clues in your dreams. See, our version of time is actually completely an illusion. There's something about, see, this is where I'm limited in answering your question, because I have the same problem as you, because I'm living under the same illusion that you are, because I'm still in the 3D. All I know is that you don't need to know, okay? This is something that you do not need to know. The other thing is that you're shifting into the 5D, and part of the clues that you're shifting into the 5D is that you notice that you don't react the way that you react to things today the way you did before. You're speaking your truth. You may find yourself totally isolated because absolutely nobody agrees with anything that you do. What was the other thing about time? You may notice that, so you're sitting in one room, and Martin says, say no. Yeah, all of these suggestions here are correct from 66 double and Martin. Yeah, these are all correct. I just don't, all I know is that you really don't need to know, okay? The future, you don't need to know, you don't need to worry about the future, because the future is a number, there's an infinite number of permutations and possibilities, and an infinite number of possibilities. So you don't need to worry about that. Now, if you really want to know what's happening, there's some version of so this physical earth will look different. It will take you a while to realize it. There will be a shift at the end of the day. There will be no governments. So that you'll know that it's happening when you realize there's no governments, there's no bad people. The Illuminati will not be living on this earth anymore. Now, there could be some very uncomfortable, tragic things that you may observe. From my understanding, it's more like if you could imagine this world being towed, going through a tow, like something's towing it. There will be a very loud, uncomfortable noise. Well, I don't know if it's loud. While the world is being towed, it's like a tow, and something like that. Okay, so there will be a change. The remnants of this physical world are going to. It's like taking the destruction and using it. It's like recycling and turning it to something beautiful. Okay, that hasn't happened yet, but it's going to happen. Okay, so you don't need to worry about any of this. I thought originally that there would be this horrible like crashing, and it's something like that, except that you're not going to suffer any. All right, this physical world is evolving without dying, but it's evolving into something new, and so are the people in it. You're not going through a physical death. By the way, it's the first time that a planet and the chosen ones have ever moved from into the 5D without physical death. It's the first time from the beginning of time that it's ever been done. That's why all the galaxies of the entire universe are watching and marveling. Okay. Now I want to talk to the person who asked about the thing they didn't want to ask about, and I'm trying to Chuck Cheese. Okay, so no, you don't have to do anything about that. I'm going to try to explain. I'm just going to mute the volume for 1 second because I'm actually going to try to get a download. So I'm muting the volume. Don't go anywhere. All I know is you don't have anything to worry about. I'm muting the volume because I have to recite something out loud that I don't want you guys to hear. Please don't go anywhere because I'm trying to answer correctly Chuck Cheese's question. Okay, this is cool. Chuck Cheese, I got a question for you. Chuck Cheese, are there any people around you that because of that activity that you think is bad, are there any people around you that you've spoken to and tried to explain so let's just think of that activity that you think is bad. So are there any people that around you that engage in that you've tried to talk to about God, like that you tried to um uh there any of those people around you that look up to you and respect you, and you've tried to help them in some way, but not about that, not about the thing that starts with A, but any people around you that you've talked to about other issues and tried to explain to them something about God or just having faith or that type of thing, but it doesn't have anything to do with the A, okay? And I'm just going to mute the volume while you think about that. Like, in any way, have you tried to help any of those people or that type of thing? Okay, hang on. I got to do another question. Can you hang on 1 second? Okay, does it give you any relief or peace in any way, or is it a way of is it a way of um, is it a way of giving you some kind of relief or peace, or has there been some kind of trauma that you have experienced in the past um, that you think led to that or something like that? Hang on. No. Did you got to forget about the? It doesn't have anything to do with being criminal. Thanks, Martin. That's right. I'm just there. They just want you to know why it's occurring. So Chuck Cheese. Yeah. Okay. So okay. Okay. So you're just worried because it's something that you don't think is natural. What are you worried about then? What's the problem? Why are you worried that? What's your worry with respect to it then? Yeah. What is it for? Okay, I got it. Okay. Can you give me a moment now? I'm just going to get one more download. Okay, this is interesting. So something called because when it's all consuming at points. Okay, what do you mean all consuming? What do you mean all consuming? I need to know. Okay, and can you tell me how it impacts your daily routines? Just give me an example about how it impacts your daily routines. Just one example. Okay, give me a moment. Okay, there's something about your daily routines. To stick to the daily routine. The daily routine is whatever daily routine you're talking about is it just leads to disaster. um, it returns you to peace and love. Um, I'm not saying to keep doing it. I'm just saying that whatever you perceive as a daily routine, that's not really, if the daily routine is toil and labor, that's not part of the daily routine. And what Martin is saying is right. Basically, the answer is that what you're trying, the impact that it has on the whole is that you don't pass your pain along. So for many people, what they think is an addiction is a form of not passing your pain along. For example, it's that you're doing the best that you can. For many people, in other words, like an addiction that somebody, yeah, this is making sense now. So if you think of a drug user that does it alone and they don't encourage others to use it, it's their one and only way of not passing pain along. If a non-drug user, and now these are only for specific people. For specific people, if they, in the situation that they're in, they will just keep passing pain along. For specific people, they don't like the way that they're living, and they're being exposed to, they don't have to be exposed to abuse or something, but they're in an environment where which is this world, which is the norm is to, somebody says a passive aggressive comment, they're going to pass the aggressive comment on to someone else. It's a way of not hurting others. So what they do is they engage in some kind of an addiction. So to stop, they're taking on the pain by themselves, so they do not pass it along to someone else. You get it? That's why these frigging programs, the what do they call them? What do they call these things that people go to where you're supposed to get rid of the addiction? What do they call it? Rehab. They don't work because those people don't believe in God. Do you understand Chuck E. Cheese? Hang on for 10 minutes. Yeah, it's Chuck E. Cheese. It's because if you continue to do that thing, you're going to in some way be passing the pain along. So what you see as an interruption is a way of stopping what you're about to do, and in harnessing all the pain that's about to be passed along in some underhanded way, and you're stopping it. And so the addiction or whatever it is, you're soaking up all the pain, all of the evil, and you're soaking it up in yourself. Okay? You're dealing with it. So you're extinguishing it. So you're like you're like the vulture that eats the garbage for the good of all, right? The crow, the vulture, the ultimate what do they call the crow? Hang on, I gotta look it up. You eat garbage. So everyone says, oh, he's eating garbage. He's eating garbage. Little do they know you're eating the garbage so it doesn't get passed along. What's everyone else going to do with the garbage? Put it in a dump where it just poisons everybody else. Anyway, you get the idea, right? You will look. This existence is almost over. You do have a handle on things. Okay? I hope that's enough to give you some peace, all right? Now, guys, I'm going to leave this up, and there's going to be a lot more coming up. And I love you guys so much. I hope that is there anyone else that has any other question just before I sign off? I love you too so much. Of course it will be Chuck E. Cheese, because what's triggering it is the pain that's all around you. That's because you're allergic to evil, Chuck E. Cheese. That's why it's triggered, because inside you are pure. So it's always going to be triggered because you're all of that, all those, yep. That's all right, my love. Chuck E. Cheese, I'm sending you so much love. So much love. Okay? Ashwini and I, the other night, discovered something just incredible, and it takes too long right now. We'll explain later on. But look, what is involved in finding the truth is because what is involved in finding the truth is realizing that you need to, on your own, to find the truth, you need to look at all the stuff, all the science, and all the scientific studies, which have a portion of the truth, but a lot of it is lies. You need to read the scriptures, which has a portion of the truth, but a lot of it is lies and misconstrued. And you need to rely on your inner self connecting with God, which has all of the truth. Tarot helps as well because it has all of the truth. You need to constantly combine all of these three together. It helps if when we come together to sort this all out. When you find the truth, it will be stark and glaring. It is the truth. And what will happen is you will have a aha. And what will happen, it will click like a puzzle piece. There will then be a massive domino effect. Boom, 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 boom. All sorts of things in all areas of life will then click, 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 click. It's like, imagine if you were playing a lotto game, right? One of those games on where you get a bonus point and it goes ding, 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 ding. That is what happens when you arrive at a truth. And that kind of truth, when you arrive at it, it needs you will always stand by it. You'll stand up to it and you'll die for it. You'll die for it. You'll die for it. If I'm in that, you'll always stand up to it. And it will bear testimony to God, Jesus. You will never, ever question it, ever again. So that is the truth. And the reason why you will never learn it from a human being, ever, ever. You will arrive at it through a combination of things. Okay? So I had that amazing euphoric experience between myself and Ashwini. It was so cute. She was in India and I was here, and in her she was whispering because her mom and I was here, and it was just such a beautiful moment. It was just such a beautiful moment. So guys, you're all a part of this. Beautiful, beautiful. The other thing is Jesus in heaven. I'll tell you, if you want to know in terms of distance, how close. He is only 11,000 kilometers away from us. God is light years. God is in human form. He's on the edge of the universe. And you will see in human form, you will see God very soon. Jesus won't be with him because he can't be here at the same time. And everyone will see him. So you don't have to worry if you're in need of seeing, you will see, all right? I want to read Chuck E. Cheese. My deepest sense comes from normally do my daily life. Chuck E. Cheese, we love you so much. We love you so much. Okay? We love you so much. And by the way, as Ashwini and I were arriving at this truth, she was reciting, oh my God, she was reciting multiple scriptures from multiple. It was just proof of everything that I was saying, but it was coming from religious texts that I don't know, and it was just unbelievable. It was unbelievable. Yeah. So guys, I'm sending you so much love, and there is so much. There's just there is an incredible, beautiful, beautiful Venus is in heart chakra. I love you so much, Ashwini. There are so many beautiful things to come. Venus is abundance. So we are going to be rejoicing. There are so many beautiful things coming. Just know that. And it's very, very, very close. All right. I love you guys so much. I'm going to be posting a couple of things soon. And we will be talking very soon. Okay, I love you guys so much. And just keep going. Many thanks to you, 66. Yeah. Love with our pure hearts. We will always attract goodwill. Yeah. Just do your very, very, very best to keep your faith. Okay? And maintain hope. All right? And when you hear me on my in my posts and in my recitations, when you hear me getting angry, I am addressing those, the Illuminata. I am addressing those who refuse, those who are interfering with you. And you have no idea how well you've done. All right. God love you, and a big pat on the back. You have done the impossible. You have found the truth without any memory of because when you came here, we the challenge was we're not allowed to have memory of the truth. There is no, in our sight, in our eyes, and there is no proof of this. And for some of you, you have not yet been, and it's not your fault. For some of you, you found it without looking, without seeing. It's just, you knew. And do you know that is the ultimate challenge? You've met that challenge. You've met that challenge. Okay? So congratulations. And just watch the unfolding. Okay? Yeah. God love you guys. God love you, Martin. Okay, I'm going to sign off now and just look forward to some more posts in the next few days. If you don't hear from me, like when I don't post in a few days, what I'm just doing is I'm resting and I'm gathering more information. Okay, I love you guys so much. All right, I'm going to close down the live now and we will prepare for our next few posts. I love you guys so much. There's so many good things to come. All right, bye.